Hey everybody, how's it going today? What are we talking about today? Oh, that's right. So today what we're doing is we're going to be talking about some of the things I've been learning as I've been preparing my classroom for hybrid learning. Okay, so one of these things to consider is definitely your camera placement, right? Because lighting is going to be a really key factor. You might think that lighting is not a key factor, but right now I'm actually using lighting to make this work. If I was to turn off my lights, complete difference, okay? And it's something I realized specifically from my classroom because the way or where my desk is. If you happen to be in an area where there's better lighting, or you just have a better place, or maybe your window has more exposed lighting, then definitely make use of it. Just for me, like it definitely was dark. Just something that like I had to consider. And so I know for me, like lighting is going to be definitely key. So just in case you needed to see it, just to kind of see what I'm kind of going through, like you can kind of see I have lighting sections over here, I have a lighting section over here. Like lighting is definitely going to be important if you want to be seen, if that's something that's really important to you. The other part too is also thinking about like your camera placement. Now, right now we have it set up default to 1, 2, and 3. You want to make sure to check 2, because if your camera is upside down, they might have set it for another room. And as I found out when I set my cameras, like my 1, 2, and 3 were set to the roof. So make sure to check your 1, 2, and 3 and change it. So one of the other things that you want to consider is that camera setting placement. Now, definitely think about how your room is prearranged, because it'll all determine on how your room is arranged. But ideally, the idea is that if you want to get it, because maybe you're a person that walks around and gets up, then your camera should be set up and ready to go so that you can always be, you know, that person that's talking and being there in view for the students that are at home, and that you're also in view of students around you. So someone made this really great point to me. I was talking to them and they were saying that if I had my desk arranged so that they're facing straight up, and then I'm trying to talk to a student, maybe a student has a question, and then I want to walk over a little bit, make sure I keep my 2-meter distance, but walk over a little bit just to kind of have this conversation with them. Do I want my students at home to see the back of my student's head, or like the side of my student's head? Which is pretty much why I kind of arrange my desk the way they are. So one of the things you probably can't see here is that I actually have a desk that's out of the camera view. And those are something to kind of keep in mind for myself, because maybe I have a student who's kind of fearful of just having a live streaming camera. So I did want to kind of give them some privacy, or just have a desk accessible to privacy. And so I had one here, still within the 2-meter distance. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay, just something else to keep in mind. Now, you might have also noticed that I was able to walk around the room and the mic was still freely going. If you've noticed on me, I actually have a wireless mic setup on here. And for me, the wireless mic setup just made more sense. We do have a mic, like if I can actually go up to it. So we do have this mic up here, and it's really nice. It's actually a pretty good mic. Like, so if you're standing underneath it, it actually hears you really well. The issue is that when you have a mask on, sometimes it does get a little muffled, and especially when you're walking away, you do definitely hear it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a mic test just to kind of demonstrate how this sounds. This is a mic test, mask on, sitting at my desk, okay? Typical noise, typical background. This is a mic test with 1.5 meters away from the mic, standing in an area where I would be facing around my students, and most likely where I would be during the good part of my day. This is a mic test about 2 meters away, and I am speaking up a little bit louder, just trying to give it a good chance, okay? This is a mic test at about 3 meters away, facing away from the mic. This is a mic test 3 meters away, just facing the camera, but facing away from the mic. This is at my same mic test, 3 meters away, facing the mic, facing away from the camera. So, just kind of looking at my classroom, I hope you got a good insight on ways to set up your classroom. Maybe you got some ideas. I know one thing I didn't show is that like I wanted to make sure that my wipes are somewhere, like kind of far away. They're 2 meters apart so that students are able to pick up tissues if they have to wipe down anything. I made sure that my hand sanitizer and all my kinds of PPE are available and readily available, one for myself as well as for my students. Just trying to make sure that we have as much safe distance as possible with everything. Also, things to keep in mind is like, how do you want students to interact with each other? Like, definitely they should be like, I know my students, even though they'll be in class, they're going to have their Zoom, they're going to have their laptops, they're going to have their Zoom on. They got to have headphones because it definitely can get very noisy and messy I know like some of the things I thought about too is that making sure that their mics and stuff are off so that they're not getting echoes as I'm talking and presenting. And then learning so that students just learn to turn on, like they're on their Zoom and then they just turn on their mics and cameras when we go into breakout rooms, when they're working in projects, things like that. And then having headphones definitely is going to help with that, so that we know that with all these other people talking and walking around, and not walking around, but I'm walking and just kind of checking in, making sure that we're trying to reduce as much of the confusion for students as possible. With hybrid learning is going to be a learning task. Like it's going to be crazy. It's going to be different. And we just have to be flexible. We just have to be able to just be intellectually agile as possible, because we're definitely stepping in a new world and a new place. If you have any questions or maybe you have just some other ideas, please let me know. I'm super open. I'd love to talk some more. And if you have anything else, I'd love to hear from you. Take care, y'all. Have a good one and stay classy.